friends, and welcome back to the Art of Self-Discovery. We are going to jump right in today with a kind of strange metaphor. But I would like for all of you to close your eyes for a minute, or if that makes you feel weird, don't. That's okay too. And think about how you started in this world. Go back, even younger, tell your baby, and I want you to imagine baby you as a seed. And I want for you to imagine growing up out of that seed. So right now, if you were a plant, you'd be a pretty young plant. Okay, baby you is a seed. So grab some water-based markers, and I'm going to use some watercolor paper here, but you can use any multimedia paper and even some construction paper, but you want something that can get wet. And for this, we're just going to put in here a little seed. I'm pretty partial to bean-shaped seeds, so there's my little bean. That's me. And I've grown. No, I'm not a baby anymore. So this is how much I've grown thus far. And don't worry about coloring in things solid. Let it be kind of loosey-goosey, okay? If you want to add colors, this is a great time to do so. I'm going to do a lot of my coloring by just doing stripes. And we'll see exactly why in a little bit. And now at the very top, we're going to see how you have begun to bloom. So put a flower right up at the very top, like this, which is my pretty messy little lily. And I sketched it pretty lightly with an orange, and then I did around some of the outlines with another orange. Now I'm also going to do some red, and I'm going to look where shadows might be, and I'm going to put a line of those darker areas. And this petal's way behind, so I'm going to put a lot more red in that one. I'm going to keep doing that around my drawing and just add some detail that way. Notice that I'm not coloring anything in yet. I'm just adding some lines. We're going to get the idea of shadows by the different colors here. You can do different colors completely, like blues and purples and pinks and greens, or you can do different shades. And honestly, this is my very first time doing just different shades and trying to do a kind of realistic flower. I don't know how it's going to turn out, and that's pretty exciting to me. So I'm imagining that this is my flower, and I feel orange. I feel really orange right now. And up here I added a little bud, because from me comes a new flower. That's a metaphor for my daughter. I added a little bud for her. And I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep adding some different shades of yellows and oranges and reds, and then we'll meet right back here, okay? Next, I want to add a tiny bit of detail, but not too much. So I was thinking pistons, stamens. I want that here. It's going to kind of point the direction. So I found like where my little halfway point is, and I'm going to make a point kind of in the middle so it looks like my flower is drooping a little bit. Don't worry too much about that idea. We're kind of just doing what we can here. And that's kind of my little middle area. And the last part of my drawing, I'm going to pick what kind of leaves I have. And my leaves, you see, these are the parts of us that reach out. So how can I reach out to someone? I can ask for help. I can apologize. I can volunteer. I can ask for a hug. I can support someone who is sad. And I'm going to keep thinking of those things that I can do that help me reach out. Okay? I am a growing flower. I need to reach out for sun. I need love and light, right? Love and light. Think of ways to gather it. So let's put out our leaves here. I can do what? What can you do? I can make a meal for my family. I can cry when I feel sad. Think of some different ideas that you can do and add as many leaves as you like. Each one of these is important for you, and that's what we'd love to see. Next, I'm just going to add some color to these. I'm going to think about some of the things I had said, whether they were for me or things for someone else, because we can get a lot from helping others. I think sometimes helping others helps us grow the most, and sometimes we need to be selfish. That's not always a bad thing. So, what are things you can do to ask for all that love? When you're at this point, stop, stretch, blink, shake it off, and you're going to need some plain clean water and a paintbrush. Even the cheapest floppy little paintbrushes will do. In fact, I love them for this project. So go grab that right now. Now with your water, we're going to start all the way down here as our little bean self. And think about those ways that you are shown love. What has helped you grow? And just like water helps the plants grow, we're going to add some water to our illustrations. And it's going to turn them into beautiful, beautiful paintings. So think about young you. Think about how those things have changed and grow, grow, grow. When you think about ways that you can grow, think about those that help you when you add the water. When I ask for some affection, who am I asking? Am I asking for a hug from a stranger on the street? No, thank you. No, 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 thank you. When I'm making supper, am I making it for everybody? Everybody in my neighborhood? Not quite. So when I think about dinner, I think about my daughter. When I think about dinner, I think about the groups that I volunteer my time to. I can't help everyone. None of us can. None of us can help every single person that's out there. And really, it would be exhausting and so sad for us to try. So pick some things that you can do that are in your power. Who can you ask for help? Who can you reach out to? Go ahead and paint that on. Clear water, clear intentions. We're just doing this to grow. Next, we'll get to you. Like I have said before, you are the most important person in your life when it comes to taking care of yourself. So give yourself all the love you need. Blend in the light parts of you and the dark parts of you. And look how beautiful it'll become all together. Now, especially with water, this is far easier if you lay it flat. But I'm just going to show you from up here. No, it looks a little askew. It looks right from my angle, and then I look at it flat, and I'm like, huh, it's all kind of leaning. But you know, I kind of love it this way because I know that I created this just for you, which makes it maybe even more beautiful than the ones that I make only for me. You guys ever feel that way when you make something for someone? Like it's more important? Sometimes you can feel like a little bit too much of a perfectionist over it because I'm worried that it won't be just right because I want it to be as beautiful as they are or to represent how much I care about them. And that's not something you can do very simply and just put into a picture. It's just another way to show love and caring. I'm going to let my paper just be kind of wet. Let it blend all together. It's called a wet on wet technique. When you go back in and you add in a little bit of water or do some more strokes on paper that you've already done. I just want to kind of blur out my marker lines into being just paint. And when I'm all done, I'll let it dry. And you kind of have a choice here. If you want to stop at this point here, it will look stunning and beautiful and just gorgeous. Or you can go back in when it's all fully dried and add some pen. I did this one earlier and I loved the way that the colors turned out. I did pinks and purples and I drew everything in this teal color so that everything was connected. And then I just traced around some of the details that I wanted. And you can do that same technique on smaller plants too. It doesn't need to be a great big picture production every time you do it. I like to add these to my journal sometimes. So I'll show you a quick way you can do that. This one here was just a circle and you doodled on top. Same with this one here. Made teeny tiny circles. And sometimes I have a little bit more detail. And that's all it really takes. So for that one, I think I'll do just one more and show you how I did the style. First, grab some colors you like and your paper. And what we're gonna do is just do some doodles. And you can do this pretty similarly in your journals as well, or even just to decorate like your pages of your planners or notebooks. And we're just gonna draw on some shapes. And this is one that I find really fun if you have one of those water brushes, but they're not necessary. I just like them for their portability. So not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. We're just kind of going for some shapes. And just like we did on the other one, you can mix the colors so that you can get multiple tones, like how we did in here. And on this one, you can do different parts of the same plant in different colors. Like if I say I'm a little bit of this color, but then part of me is also rather like this. And that's me. Because you are never stuck being the same way, ever, really. It's just a way that you are a unique human being. You're a person. You have thoughts and feelings and ideas, unlike the flowers. So maybe, instead of just a seed, you're a whole garden. And some days, the rain feels like too much. Some days it's just right. Some days you have all that you need to share. Some days you need a lot of extra sunlight. I know with a lot of us, it can be tricky. Really, really tricky to do a project like the last one, where we spend a lot of time thinking about things we really need. So that's what we're going to do next time. And I hope that you spend some time thinking about getting the things that you need. Practice some of your watercolor work here. And be ready to do some writing.
But before we get to that, here are some beautiful examples my friends have done this weekend to get ready for you.
Very best part about today's activity, the number one thing that I need for you to remember today is that none of these need to be any sort of perfect. Let yourself just create. These flowers, this garden, those lilies, however you decide to interpret these, they are you. And you are already the most very perfect you. Be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, and have an awesome day.